Step inside USAWarStories D, where the valor of our military heroes is shared, their journeys honored, and their true stories finally revealed.
After days at sea, the USS Indianapolis arrived at Tinian Island in the Pacific. The crew swiftly unloaded their secret cargo, the uranium core and other parts for the first operational atomic bomb. The mission was completed with precision, and the ship's sailors had no idea they had just played a role in ending World War II. In July 1945, the USS Indianapolis, a heavy cruiser of the United States Navy, departed from San Francisco on a top-secret mission. Few on board knew the nature of their cargo, critical components of the atomic bomb that would soon be dropped on Hiroshima. The crew believed they were simply serving another wartime duty, unaware of the historic weight of their task. With their mission to Tinian complete, the USS Indianapolis set course for the Philippines. The crew was relieved to be heading toward routine duty, unaware of the danger ahead. In the vast Pacific, they sailed without escort, believing the waters to be relatively safe so late in the war. On the night of July 30th, 1945, as the USS Indianapolis sailed through the dark Pacific, a Japanese submarine lay in wait. At 12:14 a.m., 2 torpedoes slammed into the cruiser, tearing it apart. Within just 12 minutes, the proud ship that had carried the atomic bomb's core slipped beneath the waves. As the USS Indianapolis began to sink, chaos engulfed the crew. Sailors scrambled to abandon ship, leaping into the dark waters with little time to grab life vests or rafts. Within minutes, hundreds were adrift in the vast Pacific, clinging to hope as their ship disappeared beneath the waves. When dawn broke, nearly 900 sailors floated in the open ocean. With no distress signal received, rescue was not on the way. Many had only life vests, while others clung to pieces of wreckage. The vast Pacific stretched endlessly around them, and the real struggle for survival had only just begun. As the hours turned into days, exhaustion and dehydration began to take their toll. The sun beat down relentlessly, burning exposed skin, while salt water blistered the sailors' bodies. With no food and little fresh water, men started slipping into delirium, some even drinking seawater in desperation. By the second day, sharks began circling the helpless men. Drawn by the wreckage and blood in the water, they attacked without warning. Survivors huddled in tight groups, kicking and shouting to ward off the predators. But many sailors were pulled beneath the waves in terrifying moments of violence. Days passed, and rescue never came. Dehydration, hunger, and fear pushed many sailors to the breaking point. Some hallucinated ships on the horizon, while others slipped quietly beneath the waves. Those who remained clung to each other, desperately holding on to hope in an ocean that seemed endless. On the 4th day, fate intervened. A Navy pilot flying a routine patrol spotted men drifting in the water. At first, he thought they were enemy survivors, but as he circled lower, he realized these were Americans, hundreds of them. The nightmare of the USS Indianapolis was finally revealed. Rescue ships were dispatched immediately, but reaching the scattered survivors was no simple task. Helicopters and destroyers picked up sailors in small groups, pulling them from the water one by one. Relief was tempered by the realization of how many had already perished during the harrowing days adrift. Those pulled from the water were near death, dehydrated, burned by the sun, and weakened by shock. Medics worked frantically on the decks of ships and helicopters, administering first aid and offering water. Despite the care, many men were lost, highlighting the immense toll of 4 days adrift in the Pacific. Once on board, survivors began telling their stories of unimaginable suffering. They spoke of relentless sun, thirst, hallucinations, shark attacks, and comrades lost to the sea. Each testimony painted a vivid picture of endurance, fear, and the will to survive against overwhelming odds. Of the nearly 1,196 sailors aboard the USS Indianapolis, more than 800 perished, most in the water before rescue. The tragedy became one of the deadliest naval disasters in U.S. history. Survivors and Navy officials later honored the fallen, commemorating their sacrifice and the unimaginable hardships endured at sea. Following the tragedy, U.S. Navy investigations sought to understand how the disaster occurred. Questions arose about the lack of escort, delayed distress signals, and command decisions. Hearings examined responsibility, highlighting the failures that contributed to one of the most devastating losses in naval history. When news of the USS Indianapolis tragedy reached the public, it shocked the nation. Newspapers and radio broadcasts recounted the harrowing tale of survival, the enormous loss of life, and the heroism of those who endured 4 days at sea. The story became a symbol of sacrifice and the perils of naval warfare. In the years following the tragedy, surviving crew members were recognized for their courage and endurance. Medals and commendations were awarded, and many shared their experiences to honor fallen comrades. Their resilience became a testament to human determination in the face of overwhelming adversity. The USS Indianapolis tragedy left a lasting impact on U.S. naval policy and history. Lessons learned led to improved convoy protection, stricter communication protocols, and heightened awareness of the dangers faced by ships even in the final days of World War II. The story remains a solemn chapter in naval lore. Over the decades, the story of the USS Indianapolis has been told through documentaries, books, and films. Survivors' accounts, historical research, and first-hand testimonies preserve the memory of the tragedy, ensuring that future generations understand both the human cost of war and the heroism displayed in unimaginable circumstances. Today, the USS Indianapolis tragedy is remembered as one of the most harrowing naval disasters in history. Monuments, memorials, and survivor reunions honor the courage and sacrifice of the sailors who endured the impossible. Their story stands as a timeless reminder of bravery, resilience, and the heavy price of war. Thank you for watching this detailed account of the USS Indianapolis tragedy during World War II. For more true stories of courage, heroism, and historic military events, subscribe to USA War Stories and hit the notification bell. Join our community to honor the bravery of those who served and never forget their sacrifices.